Good morning. I'm live in Santa Cruz, California. And it's Friday. It's finally Friday. Good morning and Namaste, and welcome to Namaste Today in the Zodiac Weather. My name is Witecki. I am the sensei to Sirius joy, here to stand in my heart each day and walk in the light. Thank you so much for joining me on my light walk this weekend. I'm lovecasting live in 5 dimensions from the beautiful Temple of Gaia in Santa Cruz, California on Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Friday, June 19th, 2015. And I'm actually love casting. That means to send love through the camera, if you don't know, from my webcam to yours or from my iPhone to yours. Love casting live. And I'm in the backyard of one of our viewers. In fact, this is one of our Namaste ambassadors. So you too can be an ambassador, incidentally. I'm interested in seeing people's backyards and seeing where their flowers grow, because I love flowers, being a Taurus. And as you can see, it makes a great place to shoot, right? Plus, it's a blessed garden. This is live from a viewer that cares about me. So I feel very blessed, and I'm so grateful. I will let that person remain anonymous, but say right now how grateful I am. So today it's about gratitude. In fact, it's Love Fest Day. It is the most powerful day of the month to share your love. And it's not just Love Fest Day. Today is I Manifest. Step 28 rules the day today. So we are manifesting a new mental mindset. And because Love Fest Day is in the background emotionally, we're manifesting a new loving mindset. And so it's a powerful day, my friend. This is very unique. I'll be talking about that in the Cosmic Clock. In fact, today, in your personal sensei, we're going to talk about the power of love and how to seize that power and how important it is and rare it is right now. And that'll be all in your personal sensei. Then for those who need to hop up higher than grasshopper status, try the Cosmic Clock. Today we'll talk about the love yod going on and how this love fest is extremely powerful because God is giving us the finger. Then in the Zodiac Weather, I will give you a prediction for your weekend forecast and exactly where you need to believe in the love for each of the 12 zodiac signs. But before we dive into all that deep cosmic love, let's first dive into your personal sensei. Good morning, my friend. This is your personal sensei for Friday, June 19th, 2015. And as I said in the beginning, I'll say it again. Happy Love Fest Day. I love you. Today, with the cosmic timing of things, it's the most powerful day to exchange love. So I first say, exchange love with yourself. Do loving things for yourself. You know, I had a reading over the weekend, or last time I did a reading. It's all blurring together, actually. I'm like, it wasn't the weekend. What day is it? But, like, I had a reading, and, you know, the client was uncertain about how to love themselves. And I find that that is continually true, that people don't know how to love themselves. And think about that, because we have this time right now where if you love yourself, it's going to pay back like 3 to 10-fold than it normally would. Just trust me on the cosmic timing of things. For those who watch the Cosmic Clock, you'll understand. I'll show you the planets of why now that's so true. But you don't need to understand why. You just need to know that right now, if you gamble on what your heart wants, it's going to pay off. So the question is, do you love yourself? And do you know what loving yourself means? Loving yourself means giving yourself things you love. That's what it is. Do you give yourself things you love? And this is kind of likening to dealing with a toddler. You got a toddler sitting in their car seat, right? Well, all happy and sweet, but now like suddenly getting cranky. What do? You give the toddler something it loves. So a toy it loves, you know, at which it totally puts it in its mouth. You know? If a child puts it in its mouth, you scored. That's going to work. So, and ultimately, when you give the child something that it loves, you are loving the child. It doesn't have to be a hug, but it does love a hug, doesn't it? It doesn't have to be a kiss, but it does love a kiss, doesn't it? I say it based on gender, but you know, the baby. And pets, well, you're built the same way, my friend. And today it's Love Fest Day, which means today the volume is turned way up just by the nature of things. The sun of love is very hot today, and the sun of love will be hot today, and it'll be hot through the weekend. And this love, this self-love hot, okay, energy, the heart chakra just pounding, is not just today and the weekend, I got to say, it's the whole summer. Because this is a special year that happens once every 12 years, where if you follow your heart, your dreams may happen. Your heart will pay off. That's because the volume and the expansion of the heart is happening, like the universe is expanding. So that said, are you going with that flow? It's kind of like God is going to always double whatever you put in the bank of love right now, going to double your investment. So what is your investment, by the way? Are you loving yourself every day? Are you giving yourself things that you love every day? Does the baby in you have its favorite toy? Does the baby in you have its favorite juice? Is life just joyful from the moment you get up, where it's just everything you love all around you? Or are you tolerating things that you don't love? You don't have to tolerate. The universe is designed to have what you love somewhere. Always. It's kind of like you loving it means it exists. That's kind of how it works. It's like, do you love it? Well, then it exists somewhere. Because that's how it works. And that's what the Age of Aquarius is about. It's about following our hearts. No matter how weird we may think we are, no matter how strange others might perceive us, we follow our hearts. If our heart's into it, we do it. And now, in this moment, this is a moment that happens once every 12 years. I keep saying it again. This is a moment where if you follow your heart and you surrender to that heart and you surrender to what you believe about yourself, what you really believe, then it will pay off. Now, the last time this happened was 2003. So go back to 2003. Where were you in the summer of 2003? What was expanding? Were you falling in love? Were you getting a divorce? Were you starting something? Were you pregnant? Were you starting a company? Did you come up with an idea that you want to do now? It's no accident. The universe is pouring pure love on the table. Now, we had 9/11, and so a lot of that love energy, I think, went to healing 9/11. And I think in 2003 in the United States, that was the first time we felt like, oh, life might get better. And that was Jupiter and Leo, if you want to know the astro citation of it. So but here we are again, and thank God there's no crappy kind of dark looming thing to gobble up all this positive energy. So we begin today a push, a pressure to follow your heart. We've been working on our mind. We've been working on our attitude. We've been working on our connections, our brother and sisterhoods, our sibling connections. We've been working on getting our message out there. All that falls under the cycles and circles of the Gemini state of awareness, I think. But now, as we move into Cancer over the weekend, we're going to shift from our thoughts to our feelings. And even though we shift from thinking to feelings, there's one trend that remains true underneath both of them. And that's love and self-love. So in your thoughts, are you self-loving yourself? In your feelings, are you feeling like you are self-loved? Those are the two questions for you over the weekend. Do you think self-love? Do you feel self-love? Do you give yourself things to think about that you love? Do you give yourself things to feel that you love? Or do you give yourself crappy things to think about, like problems and fear? And do you give yourself crappy things to feel about? What kind of a babysitter are you? What kind of ambassador are you to your namaste in your heart? That's what it comes down to. And the golden answer is, if you give into your heart and what you believe right now, I promise you're going to see amazing results. And if you want to sit this one out and watch your sensei grow from this to this, because that's interesting too, I'll just say right here from the record, it's like, I knew enough about astrology to know, you guys just watch me grow in 6 months. You just watch. So I hope you are growing with me. I hope you're following your heart as much as I'm following my heart. But you'll see, hell or high water, from my own life as the sensei of Sirius Joy, that I'm going to take this and I'm going to surrender to the love and I'm going to accept it. Now, there's one thing I want to leave you with, and it has to do with belief. First, let's start with a phrase of the day and for the weekend. And this phrase will keep you on track. You can play this video over and over through the weekend. It's designed to be weekend friendly. And this is it. I feel where my joy is today into this weekend, and I decide to commit there. All right? I feel where my joy is, and I decide to commit there. Now, when you apply these, one thing is very simple. You feel where your joy is, right? Like I just said. But you know, to manifest reality, you should be like, if you're trying to manifest a job, let's say, right? So it's like, I know where my joy is in a job. It's kicking back and putting my feet up. Okay, so that's where you know I feel where my joy is. I feel where my joy is in a career. It's kicking back and not having to work so hard. I feel where my joy is where I want to go. So you want to feel where your joy is, where you're going. Then, with the other part of the brain, you go, and that's where we're going. You decide to commit there. And you stay focused. And that's what that I commit is. We are focused. We're going to stay there. We're focused on that joy. We're cool to the way it manifests. We're cool to the way it may look. But we're manifesting that. What? The way I feel. What? That joy of sitting back at work, feeling cool. That's what I want. I don't care if it's in an ice cream truck. Although I hope it's air conditioned. Right? Yada, yada, yada. All right? So one more time to keep it in your mind. I feel where my joy is. And I decide to commit there. And so it is because I said so. I thought so. Ah, hallelujah. All right. So commit, decide where the joy is, and hold that space. That is really what kind of like your weekend forecast. In fact, before we give you the joy quest and let you on your way with your namaste, let me just say that today, Friday, the first day of the weekend, you are committing and you're holding space and you're getting stubborn, like a mother sitting on an egg. On Saturday, which is really Saturn Day, comes from the planet, by the way, the name does, if you don't know that. But on Saturday, it's going to be tested. You're going to be tested on whether or not you really have faith. So if there's like a last thing you have to do, like, put the application in the mail, or you've got to still tell Betty that you're not going to do it, or whatever, you still have some like last minute detail, you better do it tomorrow. Of course, tomorrow it'll be like feel under horrible pressure. You might feel totally stressed about it. If that's the case, I say, tough shit, do it. You got to finish the job, man. So tomorrow will be very tested. Saturday will be tested. Stay in your heart. Just keep reminding yourself of what you're doing this for, because you're loving yourself. You're giving yourself opportunity. You're taking advantage of the golden rainbow possibility. Then on Sunday, Sunday, it's step 0. And step 0 means that everything will be kind of energetically flat. And so on the longest day of the year, it will be, oh my God, the slowest day of the year. Step 0 rules a day. In fact, step 0 rules more than one day by the nature of it. I'll talk more about that on Monday when we come back. But the good news is step 0, plan something weird and exotic and different, because it will be weird. You're just going to be floating along down the lazy river of love on Sunday, and there's nothing really to get crazy about. So before I send you on your way to your passionate play, let's do the joy quest for today and the weekend. Your joy quest, should you choose to accept it, is commit to the smiles. And you're like, what? I'm not talking about a selfie, commit to a smile. I'm talking about, did you smile? More of that. And I say this because a lot of people have no tools to recognize when they're in any part of joy. And it's like, hey, did you find yourself smiling there? That means you liked it. You know what I mean? Like, if you can't, wipe the shift-eating grin off your face, you liked it. So your joy question, you choose to accept it, is to commit to the smiles. If someone makes you smile this weekend, you go, I'm committed to that person. If something makes you smile, say, I'm committed to that. We'll see where it leads us. We can always uncommit. But commit to the smiles and commit to what makes you smile, my friend. All right? All right, so that wraps up this segment. Keep streaming now for your telepathy, and even further for your Act 2, your cosmic clock of the day. Before we tick-tock to the cosmic clock, let's first test our brain and our ability to send emails with our mental powers with today's telepathy. And as we wrap up Gemini, because we come back, we'll be in Cancer, I thought it would be apropos to use today's telepathy to list as the theme Gemini writers. So these are famous Gemini writers, and I am sending from my temple to yours a special little something around one of these 3 names to see if you can get my telepathic email, if you will. So which of these 3 am I sending a little telepathic email on? Is it number 1, Gemini Walt Whitman? Is it number 2, Gemini Anne Frank? Or is it number 3, Gemini Ian Fleming? Which of these Geminis am I thinking of in a special way? I'll have the answer for you in Act 3, just before your zodiac weather. But now, let's dive deeper, shall we, into the inner workings of our spirit and soul with today's Cosmic Clock. And here we are with the cosmic clock. Well, today, step 28, Gemini rules the day. Now, looking at the key states, that's a 2 and an 8. Now, 2 is I feel, so the basis of the day is our feelings, and that's always the case in the third decan, or in the third, let's say, trimester of a transit, in the third little 10-day moment. We are experiencing everything in passion. It takes passion to manifest because our emotional field carries the information of all of our states of awareness. What otherwise, some states of awareness focus just on one aspect, right? So emotion is what it's about. And today we add the 8. That's a decision. And so the decision focuses that emotion, focuses that passion. And when you focus emotion, it adds to I manifest. So I manifest is the ruling state of awareness, which means we are manifesting today. This is the final manifestation moment. And as I said earlier, it's cool that it's Love Fest Day because embedded and threaded in that emotion is so much love. So the universe is adding a lot of love to today's manifestation. That's really super positive. So let's look at the planets. The sun today is, first of all, at step 28, starting there. So again, it's I feel it and I decide and I manifest. So that's the sun and that's our heart. And I'll talk about this here at the end of this little cosmic clock. But we go to 29 and then we go to 0 on Sunday. Now Mars is at step 27. And that is where the sun was obviously just a day ago. And that means we feel it and we sense it, we act. So if you feel it and you sense it, you act. So this is Mars, the king of action. So the king of action is basically at its prime grandmaster number, 27, which means we're all in our prime to take the perfect action. We're all in the moment today for it all to happen perfectly. And when I say go down perfectly, I mean Mars at step 27. Whenever Mars himself is at his home step in the grandmaster number, there's potential for everyone to master that vibration on that day. Then finally, Mercury, the I think is at step 7. So our mind is on the I sense, which is really good, and our heart is on the I feel. And so today we have this kind of very powerful wrap-up of Gemini, where we are manifesting here and moving forward. So let's look, of course, at the moon and Love Fest Day. The moon is in Leo, that's part of Love Fest Day, and it was crossing Venus. That's where I come up with Love Fest Day. In fact, I've been putting the idea of Love Fest Day out for about 3 or 4 years now, maybe 4 at least. And it all comes from the fact that when the moon crosses Venus, everyone feels this dose of love. I just noticed it. Now, Leo is the sign of love, so we're getting a dose of love in the sign of love. So this is a super duper uber cool Love Fest, all right? And it's not just that. We have Jupiter in the same space. If you want to put it in simple terms, Jupiter is wherever God is watering the soul garden. So God is watering our hearts. And we have a Love Fest Day. So what this boils down to is what you're feeling today is what you're going to be working on this weekend and this entire summer. Because we have Venus on approach to Jupiter. That is the star of Bethlehem, by the way. And that is what, along with Regulus, was viewed as, in Leo, same sign as it is now, viewed as a king being born, a great king. It had to do with Leo, it had to do with Jupiter, it had to do with love, of course, and Venus, of course. So we have the same birth. Everyone is birthing a great love, what is kingly or queenly in their heart. And we're on countdown to that star Bethlehem as Venus approaches and conjuncts Jupiter. Today and through this weekend, this is your mind's jump off, your mind's kickoff to this, not just Love Fest today, but Love Fest of the summer. And this is a summer to chase after your heart. It is a summer to go after what your heart wants. It may not be realistic. It may not last. But it's going to set powerful impressions, particularly the first week of August. I'm going to talk more about that coming up. So it is Love Fest Day because the moon is crossing over Venus, and Venus is at step 13. That's where I get the go with your beliefs, because it's I love it and I believe at 3, and that's when you jump off. That's like the Fool card in Tarot is like step 13 Leo, okay? Venus in step 13, Mars in step 13 Leo. That'd be the Fool, like following their heart. And by the way, the Fool card's a good card in Tarot if you know it. Right? Now, moving on to one more miracle going on called the Oh My Yod. That's right, God is giving us a finger, and the finger is God saying, this, do this. Okay, it can't be more obvious. Like all this gravity pointing. And where's the gravity pointing? It's pointing to Venus at step 13. So God consciousness is saying, follow your heart, not just your heart, but what you believe. So what you believe is usually not what you see, just so you know, which means the universe is saying, follow your heart in what it believes. And what goes into that belief? Well, first of all, Pluto at retrograde step 14. So that means based on changing the rules, based on where you really belong. So you have full permission from the universe to change the rules based on how you really belong. So it's like, oh, I know I signed up to be in the military, but I realized I'm an artist. Ooh, that's okay. You can change the rules, says Pluto retrograde. You can change the rules. And I'm not trying to talk anyone out of breaking rules per se, but I would think if there's any time there's a loophole to be found, it would be when Pluto's in Capricorn. So keep looking if you're trapped by anything. That's just my advice. Then on the other leg of the yod, or the tripod yod, is Neptune, which is also retrograde, but in Pisces, but it's step 9. So this means you're changing the rules with Pluto, and then with Neptune, and you're acting on what you know in your soul. Acting on is step 9. Know in your soul is Neptune. Now, both Neptune and Pluto are retrograde, and there's two ways to look at that. One is that it's subconscious for most of the clients. So for you and most of the clients, this bottom part of the yod is subconscious. They may not even realize they're breaking the rules. They may not even realize they're listening to their spirit. Okay? You have to meditate and pull a retrograde planet into the forefront. It's all there to be seen if you take the time and space to look for it. But most people will not see these two parts or aspects of it. However, I think to sharpen your effect with the client or with your students, you should know what their Pluto Capricorn is, and you should know what their Neptune Pisces is. And putting it in a more simple term, you know, other than breaking rules and talking to God, putting it in a little bit more practical terms, it's about you're going to probably reverse an old decision. That's what breaking rules is. It's like you're going to probably reverse a decision you once had in life. Like, I'm never getting married. Well, are you sure? You know, like, that's Pluto and Capricorn. It's like, never say never. You know, like, so they're probably going to change their mind about something that they were so certain on at some point in their life. So, you know, and then Neptune and Pisces is really the way to handle that. It's Neptune and Pisces is you got to be self-forgiving. You've got to be compassionate to yourself. It's okay you're going through a midlife crisis. It's okay that you're at bottom again. It's okay that you have to start over. That's Neptune. So God is saying, take the compassionate leg and take the whole, it's all right, you're changing your mind, and follow your heart like crazy. Like, follow your heart. Not just follow your heart, but, hey, I sent Jupiter along to help you, which is like a Mardi Gras parade in your heart's honor, which happens, by the way, only once every 12 years. So if you're wondering, should I try? Your sensei says, yes, get off the couch and try. Now, here's another thing. Get comfortable. Saturn is at step 29, Scorpio, and step 29 means that we kind of just got settled in our emotions, and now here we are having to get settled in our emotions again. And by the way, just as a master talking to anyone out there, no matter what level you're at, I'll remind you, you want to master this planet, master dealing with your own feelings. If you can nurture yourself, if you can deal with a cold shower and a super hot tub, you know what I mean? And you can go from those extremes and you can like baby yourself through it, dude, you're good. You're not going to need anything else as far as what I can tell, as far as to come up against what's going to happen. Now, that said, you're about to get showered with cold water because Saturn's at step 29, baby. And that means that you're going to have to kind of get comfortable with something that you weren't comfortable with before. And it means that you're going to have to, you know, with changing those rules, just kind of sweat through the transition. So expect to sweat through the transition, even though your heart loves it. Now, that's the thing, you know, Creator gives you your heart's wishes. Water's the soul garden of Jupiter and Leo, right? So it's like, oh, our heart is watered. And, you know, the small price is you might be naked and wet for a while and not be able to find a towel. Okay, that's kind of how it is. So looking at the weekend, real quickly, the cosmic clock of Saturday, the sun moves to step 29 on Saturday. This will be the tested step. The moon will be in Leo too, so our heart will really, really want it, and our mind will want to give up. So on Saturday, I say, don't give up. And of course, if you're part of my Sensei Network, I will be cheering you on to just stay focused and stay moving forward and listen to your heart and listen to your beliefs and don't listen to your mind. We are reprogramming our mind. Our mind needs to catch up to what our heart wants. It's not the other way around. Don't expect your heart to lead you. So Saturday, a test of faith, a test of determination, a test of mental willpower. On Sunday, step 0, rules the day of Cancer. We are now in the mark of summertime, And we are now in the beginning of exploring our emotions. And that's what it will be all about for the next 3 days. So I come back Monday, we're going to talk about just where you are exploring yours. So expect Sunday to be kind of cold, kind of funky, kind of weird. And of course, the longest day on Earth. Literally. All right. And that, my friend, is your cosmic clock. So let's roll on now to your zodiac weather. Well, I'll give you a little bit of insight of where each of the 12 signs will be working on that heart and that love fest and really surrendering to the moon in that space through the weekend. Love these days. What's your greatest strengths? How do you love? I'll tell you all the nuances about you dating, what kind of gifts you want, what kind of marriage you want, what kind of person you want to live with and don't want to live with, and of course how you love, how you lust, what you're drawn after, who chases you, and your greatest lesson, which is often a weakness. Your birthday love and lust report has that answer. We'll reveal your secrets on video at secretsofbirthdays.com. And welcome back to Namaste Today. So first, for the answer to today's telepathy, in Act 1, I sent out a little mental challenge from my temple to yours. I said, guess which one of these Gemini authors I am thinking of. Is it number 1, Gemini Walt Whitman, number 2, Gemini Anne Frank, number 3, Gemini Ian Fleming? And the answer is Walt Whitman. And not just because he's most famous, because actually Anne Frank, kind of interesting, isn't it? Anne Frank's a Gemini. And of course, a Gemini is up in an attic, during World War II, Nazi occupation, and she is writing about her experience. Very, very Gemini, and I think passionate. Ian Fleming, the creator of James Bond. That's why James Bond had all these sexy lines, octopussy, things like that. That was all play on Gemini words. You can see the power there. But of course, Walt Whitman, I think one of the greatest authors to come from the new Americas, if you will. One of my favorite quotes from Walt Whitman, one of the coldest winters he ever felt was a summer in San Francisco. And I have to say, if you've been to San Francisco in the summer, you can appreciate Mr. Whitman's work. So thank you, Mr. Whitman. He was born May 31st, 1819. So moving on to today's rock and roll gospel. We're going to rock and roll through the weekend. It's Love Fest weekend. And I want to give you kind of a cool song that lets you kind of embrace this unique moment. The unique moment of following your heart and daring to let your heart lead you in your life, seeing if you're ready for that challenge. First of all, this is one hell of a Gemini I'm about to bring up, and you will see right away when I name who he is that clearly must be a Gemini. This is truly a poet, and everyone knows it. I'm speaking to Bob Dylan. And Bob Dylan was born May 24th, and he is a step 2 Gemini. Now, a step 2 means I feel. So this is a guy who his mind is fused with how he feels. And I think his art is really coming from his feelings. And what you see as far as his talent is concerned is all that Gemini mind around his feelings. But he is rooted in his feelings. Now, I thought it would be apropos to probably play one of the best songs that he's known for and how we may all feel at this moment as we roll down across the bridge. And it is Like a Rolling Stone, baby. You knew it was coming. See, telepathy, right? So today, Like a Rolling Stone, I think you should play some Bob Dylan because I think it will just kind of let you respect, whatever your path may be. Whether you're embracing people in, maybe you've been a Rolling Stone, maybe you're moving on to that moment in your life. I think that a lot of songs describe moments in our life, not necessarily our whole story, but certainly we can identify. I know I can. I remember when I played this song a lot, and I play it today because I think it's going to feel good. My heart is feeling like it's healing finally after a long journey, right? But before you roll off with Bob Dylan, let's take a look at the moods of each of your brothers and sisters today and a special soul vitamin. And this soul vitamin is sponsored by Venus and Jupiter in Leo, giving you a hint of your Love Fest weekend and, like I said, your Love Fest summer. So, in the order of the 11 steps to Sirius joy for each of the 12 zodiac races, I will say where your heart truly needs to surrender to your highest beliefs about ... Okay, so where your heart needs to surrender to your highest beliefs, starting with the secret steps, step 0s, the Scorpios. Scorpios, sunny and professional today and through the weekend, but surrender to what your heart believes, the career that you always wanted, is possible. So surrender to the belief that the career you've always wanted is actually possible. A lot of Scorpios going, but I don't know what that is. Don't worry, the work is there. Just get on it right now. Step 1, the Leos. Sunny and super cool with all this moon in Leo. But it's time for your heart to surrender to what you truly believe about the star you really are. So in your heart, you believe you're a star in one way or another. Time to surrender to that. Time to become that. Step 2, the Cancers, sunny and manifesting today and through the weekend. But it's time to surrender to what your heart believes you were born to own. All right, so I was born to own a house, or I was born to own this. And yes, it's material, and that's okay. All right, as long as your heart loves it. Step 3, the Sagittarius is sunny and super dreamy today and through the weekend. But it's time to surrender to life's secret mission. All right. Now, Sagittarius always have the mission they tell everyone, but then they always have the secret mission. It's time to follow the secret mission, Sag. Step 4, the Aquarians, sunny and sentimental today and through the weekend, but it's time to surrender your heart to who your soulmate is. Yep, that's right. Aquas are hooking up, and the ones that do will be the double line aquas versus the single line aquas. There's a difference. Step 5, the Geminis, sunny and chatty today, but it's time to surrender, Gemini, to your greatest idea ever. That's the best way I can put it to you, or the way to excite my son. Step 6, the Librans, sunny and social today and through the weekend. They're out shaking hands and kissing babies, but it's time to surrender to the social title your heart wishes it truly had, okay? As long as it's not Supreme Commander or something crazy like that. Step 7, the Pisces, sunny and content today. And actually, it's time to now surrender your heart to what a daily retirement would feel like. That's how I put it. So if you're going to retire tomorrow, and yes, you'd be rich if you retired, everyone's going to ask that, how would you like to feel every day? That's what you want to focus on for you, Pisces and Pisces risings. Sunny, step 8, the Capricorns, sunny with a chance of handy for the goats this weekend. But it is time to surrender your heart to what it believes about what is possible if you actually trust yourself. So if you don't judge and you actually trust what is actually possible, focus on that. Step 9, the Aries, sunny and childlike today and through the weekend. They're going to be very playful and fun. But it's now time to surrender to what your heart is calling you to do. Big deal. Surrender to the heart right now. If you want it to happen, you got to do it now. If you trust me as a sensei in the timing. Step 10, the Tauruses, sunny nesting and resting today, but it's time to surrender to whatever will make you truly feel good, Taurus. Time to own whatever that is, no matter how many thread count it might have to be, says the Royal Bull. Step 11, the Virgos, sunny and faithful today, feeling very faithful, and you know what? Same kind of thing for you, Virgo. It is time to surrender to your secret mission you have with God. That's right, every Virgo feels like they have a secret mission from God. Time for that mission to take over. Consider me the messenger. I have Mars and Pisces. I'm God's service provider. Well, that about wraps up your Namaste today and weekend edition. Hey, if you're watching on YouTube, please be kind and do subscribe. It helps us with our YouTube relationship. And on Facebook, you can be our friend by navigating to soulgarden.me. And of course, if you'd like to purchase a reading, get a Secrets of Birthday, join my Sirius Personal Sensei Network, or any of the spiritual products that I've designed so much with my heart to help you step into yours, come on down to soulmart.me. It is an honor to be of soul service on a more personal level. And speaking of personal, hey, did I tell you I love you? Let's just keep that real, all right? Have a fantastic weekend. I do love you. I do appreciate you. And I will see you on Monday with more. I'm actually going to be out here for a little bit longer. I am liking my stay here in Santa Cruz, California, so I'll be here another week. But I'm actually heading up to San Francisco next. So if you'd like to be a Namaste Today ambassador and host your beautiful backyard, just give us a ring-a-ding-ding by coming down to soulgarden.tv, clicking on About Us, and click Ambassador, and we will reach out to you. And I will say one more time, thank you so much to my current host. I'm so grateful. My heart has really enjoyed my stay here. All right, folks, I will see you on Monday. Have a fabulous weekend. And remember, I love you. Until then, live, love, be.
This is just so ironic.